played on Thursday. We didn't have our teams don't play on Sunday, so it kind of feel like it was a long weekend. Honestly, I was watching the games on Sunday myself, being like, man, this is boring. I need something to watch. And then I said, oh, I forgot. Canada got fired. So I can watch the Steelers play. I said, okay, this is gonna be a good game. And then I said, nah, I'm waiting for that 4:30 game. So those last two little nuggets I gave y'all, we'll talk about those in a minute. But speaking of people getting fired, right? You don't ever want to talk about a person losing their job. But we sitting in our group chat and we're like, man, what are we gonna discuss today? We have so many topics to talk about. And then boom, here go ESPN or Davey Shep. Matter of fact, not even ESPN. Davey Schefter told me before I heard the dun. It was more like bow, you know, that R2L thing. It came through the phone, and I said, there we go, guys. It always happens before we start a show. Frank Wright gets fired right after they lose 17-10 to the Tennessee Titans. They let him go, man. They had sources come out saying that the owner went down to the locker room after the game and they heard him cussing up a storm, saying F this, F that. It was a lot of bleeps. And the next thing you know, he pulled a Vince McMahon. So I gotta say shout out to that members only, because y'all added this sound effect.
You're fired.
What? Perfect time.
And the what was Bryce Young. So Dave, we're gonna start off with you, man. You know, they say Frank Wright is the quarterback killer, but
dang,
is this really his fault?
Well, seeing as though they traded all of their pieces that they had away in order to be able to get Bryce Young, I'm not really gonna put all this on Frank Wright. Because what offensive line does he have? What weapons does he have? What defense does he have to help him out? His best cornerback, J.C. Horn, is still hurt, as far as I remember. DJ Moore's gone. They traded him to the Bears, along with a first round pick. So not only did you give away your best weapon, you gave away your first round pick that you had. You gave away a second round pick as well. Christian McCaffrey, you traded him last year to the San Francisco 49ers. I think. But you don't have anything else. Your best weapon is Adam Thielen. He not. I'm not saying he trashed, but he not what he used to be. I'm not putting this on Frank Wright. I feel like they set him up, and then they just hired him this season. They didn't even give him the full season to be able to do what he had to do. They didn't give him the opportunity to go through the draft next year to see exactly how he was going to fit it out. Go through free agency. They didn't give him an opportunity for any of that. They fired him after 11 games. So I'm putting this on ownership. This is on ownership because you didn't give him anything to do with. You drafted a quarterback, but you gave him what? You gave him nothing. You were trying to trade for other receivers, but come on, it's a little late now. What assets do you have to give up to get that? You really have none. You gave up your assets to get Bryce Young. Now, granted, Bryce Young has not looked good. But what do you have around him in order for him to be able to succeed? Look at CJ Stroud's situation compared to his. CJ Stroud has Tank Dell, Nico Collins. He got Noah Brown over there. He got Dalton Schultz. Those are weapons. He got Singletary in the backfield. He got weapons. And then he got a defense back there. You got Jimmy Ward back there, who was a safety in San Francisco. You got good linebackers back there. You got a good defense. You went and drafted Will Anderson right after you drafted him. So he has a lot more around him than what Bryce Young has. So why do you expect this team to do better when you don't have anything? I'm not putting this on Frank Wright. I feel like they pulled the plug a little too early. And this is all on ownership. Frank Wright deserves another opportunity. This is not. I'm not putting this on Frank Wright. And by the way, the credit goes to Teddy. Teddy's the one that reported the news. It was not me this time.
Shout out Teddy.
Look at the network. Band of brothers. So Joe, you know I'm gonna come to you next, right? Because the Carolina Panthers are cleaning house. Meanwhile, the Commanders still got Ron Rivera. So how you feel about the Panthers beating y'all to the punch?
Well, the Panthers are not steadfast. The Panthers aren't patient. The Panthers are a get rich quick scheme. That's what they think they're trying to do. All right.
It's a Ponzi.
Yeah, there you go. Right. So first of all, let's start with the trade over the offseason. I think we all came on here and said, "Yeah, y'all lost that trade." Like, all right, when they traded for Bryce Young, they gave up all those picks and all that stuff, and all that stuff for Bryce Young. We like, yeah, the Bears won this one. And look what's going on. They are 1-10. About to be a number one pick again, but it's not yours. And it's good quarterback class coming out, right? So I mean, yeah. So that's that. So they're not patient. I felt like first, I'm gonna get to that, but if you're gonna hire somebody, you gotta get them at least a year or two. I mean, look at the situation. I don't understand why you fired him. That's just something that we don't know because not only they fired him, this is funny, right? Deuce Staley got fired at Josh McCown, but the owner didn't fire him. The interim coach did. I don't think I ever heard it before in my life. The substitute coach fires people. Like what in the heck? So are you planning on keeping him long term? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. Hold up. For the people that don't know, the special team coach, Chris Tober, is the interim coach.
The special teams coach fired the quarterback coach.
I had to throw that out there. Go ahead, Joe. Finish what you were saying.
Look, y'all ever like work for an organization, or you probably never been a part of this or seen this. A lot of y'all, you probably bump heads, or you probably seen people bump heads, right? And then the person you bumping heads with get the role, right? Get the manager, supervisor role, and next thing you know, they hit you with the basement man, right? So that's probably what happened. Hey, Deuce Staley, he phone running back. He probably bumping cuz in the locker, like walking past, and he like, oh, I'm the man now. Guess what? You about to get out of here. So, but I was confused why they hired him in the first place. I was confused. I mean, this man, okay, he got the coach job because he started his coaching career as a coach. We all know that, right? And then once he had the opportunity to be a head coach, the coach gave him an opportunity. His first year, he had Andrew Luck. What Andrew Luck do after that first year, y'all?
Didn't he retire?
He retired. All right, he retired. Then he had Jacoby Brissett, 7-9. Then he had Phillip Rivers. Guess what he did after the first year?
Made some more. He had another baby, right?
He retired. All right. He said another baby, right? How many kids he got? Like what? 20 kids, man? Some crazy.
He got a football team, man.
Yeah.
He got his own team.
Then he had Carson Wentz, who everybody, Carson Wentz, we all know, became a commander the year after. And then everybody killed Carson Wentz. And I was trying to tell y'all, like, Carson Wentz did play. It wasn't him. It was the whole daggone squad that fumbled against the Jaguars. And then next year he went and got Matt Ryan. And the next thing, you know what, man, that's enough. Get out of here. We're gonna bring in Jeff Saturday from ESPN to coach the rest of the year. That's how bad it was as a coach. And then you go there with Bryce Young, a young kid.
Come on, man.
Even though Bryce, we all know the situation at Carolina, it looked bad. I ain't even hit a hold up. Okay.
Shout out to TYP, straight to the point time.
We can't. They put them up.
Yo.
Pause.
Yo.
Go
Shout
ahead,
out to TYP, in the red corner host, $4.99 super chat. Talking about punches. Make sure you go watch In the Red Corner. Second episode is fire, featuring Dave, myself. Shout out to Refuse to Lose, the best sports network. Hey, thank God again for allowing me to get him be first on the show before Tomo.
I know. I was like, dang, Tomo gave birth to the boxing jump. He just took the
Hey, Dave, you did your thing. There, Joe, you done? I'm gonna make sure you done because I gotta address those guys as well.
It's the last thing. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, we got especially. All right, back Tomo coming on. That's all day. I'm like, hold up. What's going on? All right. Last thing I want to say is this: the Panthers are scoring 15.7 points per game, which is 29th. 4.1 yards per play, which is last. 37% on third down, which is 20th. So I get the situation is bad, but you ever watch the Panthers? They look bad. They look terrible. Like Bryce Young look like a bust. That's how bad they look, But we know it's just the coaching ain't right. So obviously, I think the mentorship for him wasn't good. That's why they got rid of him. But I feel like they should never hire him in the first place.
So two things, right? Hold on, let me bring this up here first because I gotta talk to these guys right quick. Look, hey. Shout out to In the Red Corner. Shout out to Dave for making the move to get on the episode first. I like the move you did, Dave. That was a great episode, right? But I want these guys to know. I went back and watched that episode twice. Just want to know I watched it twice, and I kept hearing the word "Big Three." So I want y'all to know right now that this is the original Big Three. Don't try to find a way to try to break this up by trying to get one person on the show before another. You know what I mean? So yeah, the competition is out there now. I just want y'all to know that.
Like we started the league.
Yeah, just remember that.
Okay, yeah, I like that. That's a bar.
All right. Now back to Frank Reich.
That was from J. Cole.
I know.
North Carolina. Look at that. Just keeping it all in the same state. Back to Frank Reich. All right. So Frank, all the quarterbacks that Joe just named were great quarterbacks before they got there, before they got to the Colts. Was it the Colts or was it you? You left. Richardson is there now. He was playing good. I mean, he got hurt, but he was still doing good. Gardner Minshew was there. He's doing good. And I think the OC from the Eagles last year, right? Was it Shane Steichen? That's the quarterback. I mean, that's their head coach now, right?
Yeah, he's doing good.
Frank, maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. And then if you look at your staff, you had a good staff, but technically you hired that special teams coach. So there was somebody, maybe there was somebody on the inside that was relaying messages back to the ownership about you, trying to get you out the building. So could we say it's all Frank, or was it the special teams coordinator? Because like y'all said, I've never seen a special team coach get the interim job and then fire everybody else. Deuce Staley is a good running back coach. What was the other guy? What's my man? He was a quarterback. What was his name? Y'all said his name earlier.
You said who?
McCown. There you go.
Look at this comment right here. Right.
McCown was a high school head coach during last season as an
they trying to
active
make him a head
NFL player.
coach. One of these teams trying to make him a head coach last season.
I'm just saying. So look, we really gonna see what's going on here. When y'all drafted was it Bryce? I'm about to say CJ Stroud. Look, I'm thinking about the other guy. When y'all drafted Bryce, right? Y'all knew y'all didn't have an offensive line. That's the same thing that happened with the Jets with Aaron Rodgers. He noticed that offensive line was not going to be any good, but he's more of a vet quarterback, so he's going to find ways to be savvy. This is a rookie quarterback, so you have to at least give him and the coach a year to see what it's going to be, and then to fire him before the season is even over. The Falcons weren't doing that good at some point in the season too. Did you see their head coach? He was on the hot seat. Did you see them give up on him? They said, "No, we're just going to start Tyler Heineke and see what happens." You had Andy Dalton as a backup, so if you really didn't believe in Bryce, how about you start Andy Dalton and see if it's really Bryce? There's just certain things that should have been done. And I'm with you, Dave. It's definitely ownership. You put all of this together. You traded all of those pieces. If you knew this was going to be a rebuild season, you should have just waited the year, got Caleb or Drake, or this is a lot of quarterbacks out there. There's somebody you could have went and started this thing from scratch. You let CMC go. That was the best thing they did because they were just going to ruin that poor guy's career. I mean, you should have traded him to the Chiefs or something. But, I mean, outside of that, that was the only bad mistake you did. Why you give him to the 49ers? But that's neither here nor there. So, yeah, ownership really needs to just look in the mirror and say, hey, maybe it's me. I need to fire the GM, this interim coach, and we really start from scratch. Also, one more thing I want to throw out there too, right, is Urban Meyer and Frank Reich are the only two head coaches that have been fired after the team was drafted a number one quarterback.
And what happened? What happened? Last guy got fired. Another guy came in. They're looking real good. And don't forget, they brought in Matt Rule last year too.
They might get the Eagles offensive coordinator now, and then the Panthers might start looking good. I'm just saying.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers bring in Chip Kelly.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Y'all can go get Kellen Moore.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go try to get Jim Harbaugh.
Now that Jim Harbaugh ain't taking that job.
Look, Jim Harbaugh is trying to get out of Michigan because he know he in trouble.
But Dave, John Harbaugh gonna be a top candidate though. You know that he ain't going in.
He's gonna be a top candidate. But he's looking at the Bears, and it's another team. Are the Bears that much better than the Panthers?
He gonna pull a Steve Kerr. He gonna be like, hold up, cuz I could take the next job. Hold on, the Warriors job available? All right, get the Knicks. I'm going to the Warriors. Cause it's gonna be jobs available. So
yeah, Chargers might be out there too.
Bills
may be looking for another head coach.
The Chargers will be good for John Harbaugh. He a quarterback coach.
That would be great.
Who else got fired? Is just the Raiders. I mean, they might keep Pierce though. I hope they do.
I hope so too.
I think they should keep Pierce.
Who said John? I said John. Oh my bad. Oh, we probably did. So sorry, man. My bad. You know.
Yeah, I think you did by mistake.
My bad. You know.
The Ravens ain't playing about their head coach, man. They like, look, get the
My
name
bad.
right. Joe, they was trying to tell you, man, move, get out the way, get out the way. If you see me on the highway, I know what I'm talking about here.
Hold on. I love your top. You're heading for the last topic.
Oh, you talking about rich dad, poor panther?
That was
bad for him. I feel bad for him, man. I feel bad for him.
By the way, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. If you ever read it, go ahead and read it. Go ahead.
Great book.
That's what I did it for the Panthers.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.